Hello, you splendiferous folk. Recently, Peaceful Rebellion, the channel on YouTube, has had 15 minutes of fame. And suddenly, one video just went boof, and loads of people came to the site that have never been there before. The people who have come to the channel are asking the question, who are you talking about? You keep saying, is it the emissaries that you're saying? Who are they? And what are you talking about? So I'll tell you all about the emissaries on the other side. So yeah, I've got this guy who's helping me with the channel, helping to SEO the channel, and he said it was completely blocked. It was completely blocked, a bit like my chakras sometimes, and he's unblocked it. Well, what happened was that one video, which was the Great Awakening's over, it's time for the split, that went boom, and suddenly my videos generally get 300 to 600 views on YouTube. They get about 1,000 in total across all their channels. Suddenly this one video has got like 7,500 views. And of course with that, lots of new people are coming and they don't understand what I'm talking about when I say, oh, and the emissaries said this, and I asked the emissaries, etc. So let me explain a little bit about what the emissaries are. In fact, I asked them to give me the way that they would like me to explain it. So what they said is this: the emissaries are a group of light workers, light beings that were sent, hence the name emissaries, which is those who were sent by God, hence the name Emissaries of God. Okay, they were sent to work with people, and they said this: we have been sent to work with those that have eyes to see, ears to hear, and mouth to speak. Okay, I count myself in that because they came to me and they said, we are here to share a message of great hope. Now, initially they used to say, we're here to share a message of great hope about the Great Awakening that is upon us. And since then, I've noticed that they've changed slightly what they say, and they said in this last conversation, to share a message of great hope about the times in which we are living. So it's changed a bit because they've stopped talking so much about the Great Awakening and they've started talking more about the next stage, which is this splitting off. Okay? Some people have referred to it as the ascension. Some people have referred to it as being taken up into spaceships and all kinds. I mean, there are tons and tons of ideas about it. The emissaries call it the split. So just so you understand what happened to me, I was given a very, very powerful message a long time ago, 5 years ago maybe, to meditate. It was like, I got this message, you must meditate. You must. And so I did. I started to meditate. The very first time that I started to meditate, my body was taken over by something that was moving it. And it was giving me no and yes movements, very strong movements. Let me tell you, this wasn't like I wonder if my head's just moved. No, it was being whipped from side to side and up and down. It obviously wanted to get my attention through questions, and I'm very accustomed to asking questions with a yes/no answer. Whether you use a pendulum, I use basically idiomotor signaling to talk about to my higher self, to talk to my body wisdom, to talk to my unconscious mind. So I was able, through yes and no, to find out that this was something outside of me, because I went through, is this my higher self? Is this my body wisdom? No. And then they said, we are a group of light beings who've been sent here to help with the Great Awakening. At the time, I was not a happy bunny because they said that they were called the Emissaries of God. And I'd spent years helping ex-Jehovah's Witnesses to overcome the programming from the Bible and from their organization. And I was very critical of the Bible, especially the Old Testament. And I'd also had my relationship ruined with God by the Jehovah's Witnesses because I used to be one. And so I struggled to use God and I struggled to talk to God in prayer. In fact, I didn't do it. I would talk to the universe, and that was my get out clause. So I wasn't happy when they said, we are the emissaries of God, and we wrestled about on the floor, and me asking them if they could have a different name. I mean, it was funny now when I think about it. Like, these beings that come, we've been sent by God. Really? Well, could we have a different name? Yeah? I was okay with the emissaries, even though it sounded a little bit biblical, a bit like, but of God, I was having big problems. Anyway, they said, no. We can't change the name because we have been sent by God. Hence the name Emissaries of God. So I said, okay, fair enough. Whatever God is, by the way. Whatever God is. Whatever you... I don't know. I don't know what God is. So what they say to me now is that they're in the last conversation they said, our job is to come here to help the people who are in this awakening process to understand what it is that they're seeing, to kind of make sense of the nonsensical. And they also said our job is to keep people hopeful, understanding that when people are observing what's happening, they can lose hope. And boy, in the comments, especially with the new people coming through, that's a big issue of people just losing hope. And I think everybody's just getting a little bit tired, truly. Everyone's getting, I'm noticing this, that people who've been working for years, people I've followed that have always just been posting and it's going to be better, it's going to be better. And I watch them faltering a little bit. Everyone's a bit tired, a bit weary, because this has gone on for a long time, has it not? So they, the emissaries, give me messages, right? And they give me things to talk about. So every time I go out, and I do this when I'm out in the countryside, when I'm running, it just seems for me the best time to connect. And I say, I have no idea what we're going to talk about. I connect with them and I just say, what is it that you want to talk about? And off it goes. And then suddenly something new or something different or a new way of looking at something comes out. So I share those messages. I also add my stuff. Okay, this isn't just, well, the emissaries say this and I'm not going to say any other. No, I put my own content in as well. I've got my opinion as well, So right at the beginning, when the emissaries came to me, I said to them, please, I'm happy to do this work. Well, that was debatable at the time. I am now. I'm happy to do this work, but please, when it's over, can we stop? I don't want to be going on and on and on and on and on. Please, I'll do what you want me to do, but when it's finished, I want to stop and I want to do something else. I actually said to them, I want to go into healing. Can you help me with healing? And they said, no, we can't. It's not our job. But we do know a man who can, or some beings that can. Okay? So I said to them in this last conversation, when will this work be over? When will your work be over? And they said, the work will be over for us when the split that's occurring is so obvious and so clear that it's happened that people don't need a message of hope. It's like, they've got the hope. Yeah, it's like, whoa, yay, it's happened, great. Now what we're going to do with it? So they said, when that's obvious, then our work is over. And I said to them, so my question is, will I live to see that obvious moment of, yeah, the split's happened? And they said, yes. I was so happy. And I said, so what about me? When that happens, because they said that the people who were awake are actually going to take longer to recognize the split. Just because we trust fuck all. We don't trust anything. And so we're going, no, they're talking about, no, I don't believe it for a moment. You watch, it'll turn out bad. And then suddenly we'll kind of one day think, actually, it's okay. It's okay. So I asked them about me, what will become of me? And they said, well, your work will be finished. And I said, so then what? They said, well, then it's your choice. You can choose to surrender yourself and get a new job. Okay? Which undoubtedly I will, because I surrender myself twice a week. Formally, I do it so that they know that I'm here for whatever job they want to give me. And I said, what about you all when your work's over? Will you be disbanded? And they said, yes, we will. And I said, what will happen to everybody? And they said, well, we'll all go off and do the next role, whatever we choose to do, whatever's in our plan or whatever. Some will go off to more challenging work or equally challenging work. This work for them is very challenging, by the way, they've said that. Or some will go off to have a rest. And I said, do you have like gardening leave, what we call gardening leave, where you're going to have a bit of a break from all of that? And they said, yeah, we do. And they reminded me of the past life regressions that I've done with people where they actually go back to a life that is gardening leave. And quite often working with gardens. Working with gardens and plants and everything like that. And they describe the life, and it's just beautiful. It's just, there's no complications. There's nothing. They're teaching and learning and growing roses and everything, and it's very nice. I think that is gardening leave. Would I like a bit of gardening leave? I think I might. I think I might like a little bit of gardening leave later on. Just like, just let me have, I'll grow some flowers. I would prefer to grow vegetables, whatever reason. Flowers, not my thing. But I think I'd like a bit of gardening leave. Would you like a bit of gardening leave for the next time? And they also said that some of the emissaries will come here to Earth. But they didn't say, come here to enjoy this next bit. They just said they'll come into the particular timeline that they choose on the Earth plane. Because the idea that they give me is that these timelines aren't very long, and we go in and they can be very intense, and then we live them and then we come out of them. So it isn't like, the sense I get, and hey, I could be wrong, but this is what they said to me, that it isn't one solid timeline since the beginning of time to now. It's all broken up into little pieces, and you choose which one you want. This one is the tough one. This one is the one that demands probably the maximum out of us. This is the last 5 minutes of the film. This is the drama bit of the timeline. And I think you'd probably all be in agreement with that. But I think you could choose other timelines. You can choose other stuff. I've said many times before, I'd like to do like a little house on the prairie. I'd like to be there, just running through the fields and ploughing and stuff like that, you know, and going to bed at 9 o'clock at night because there's no electricity. I'd also like to come back and be in the world fairs and be able to go to the world fairs and see what it was that was left behind from the previous timeline before they destroyed it all. Apparently, I don't know, just what they say. Where would you like to be? Which timeline would you like to go back to? Put in the comments where it is specifically that you would like to go. And also put in the comments if you were choosing gardening leave for the next incarnation. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.